Do you actually know why your cat can curl up pressed right against your leg for an hour, completely relaxed, and then suddenly snap awake and stalk off the second you reach out to pet them? It feels like a contradiction. If they didn't want to be near you, why choose your exact spot on the couch out of the entire room? And if they do want to be near you, why does your hand suddenly become the enemy? Most owners quietly take it personally, like their cat is moody or unpredictable on purpose. But there's a very specific, very logical reason your cat can want your presence and reject your hands in the same 5 minutes. And it comes down to something most people have never even considered. Closeness and touch are not the same request to your cat at all. There's also a deeper reason behind this, something about what touch actually costs your cat that has nothing to do with sensitive skin. We'll get to that near the end, and it might be the most important thing in this entire video. Let's start with the mix-up almost every owner makes. 1. Proximity and touch are answering two completely different questions. When your cat lies down beside you, they're answering the question, do I feel safe enough to lower my guard near this creature? Being close to a trusted presence without any physical contact required is enough on its own to satisfy that need. The same way you might feel calmer just knowing a friend is in the next room, even if you're not talking to them. But touch asks a completely different question. Do I want to give up control of my body to another creature right now? Those are not the same decision, and they don't run on the same schedule. A cat can answer yes to the first question and no to the second at the exact same moment without any contradiction happening at all. This is exactly why your cat can spend an hour perfectly content pressed against your leg and then tense up the instant your hand moves toward them, because your hand just introduced an entirely different request that has nothing to do with the one they already agreed to. Most owners assume physical affection is simply the next tier up from closeness, a deeper version of the same thing. To your cat, it isn't a deeper version of anything. It's a separate category altogether, with its own separate set of conditions that need to be met before it feels good instead of intrusive. 2. Touch builds up in their nervous system, whether they like it or not. Here's the part that explains why petting can start off wonderful and end in a bite within the same minute. Cats have an extremely sensitive network of nerve endings just beneath the skin, and repeated stroking in the same spot doesn't stay pleasant at a constant level, it accumulates. Veterinary behaviorists refer to this as petting-induced overstimulation, and research out of the University of Lincoln has documented it as one of the most common, most misunderstood triggers behind sudden scratches and bites that seem to come from nowhere. The sensation that felt genuinely good for the first 10 seconds keeps building with every additional stroke, crossing a threshold most owners can't see coming, until what was pleasant a moment ago becomes almost unbearable, all without your cat's expression changing dramatically enough to warn you in time. This is also why the exact same amount of petting can feel completely fine one day and intolerable the next, because that threshold isn't fixed. It shifts depending on how touched out your cat already is from earlier in the day, how tired they are, or how much other stimulation they've already absorbed since breakfast. And hey, if this kind of explanation is exactly why you keep coming back to this channel, take a second to hit subscribe. It helps us bring the real reasons behind these moments to more cat owners who've been quietly confused by this exact thing. 3. Where you touch matters more than how gently you do it. Even within that build-up window, not all touch accumulates at the same speed. Cats have specific zones where touch reads as safe and welcome almost indefinitely. The base of the ears, the cheeks, under the chin, areas that mirror where cats groom each other during genuine bonded contact. Then there are zones that fill up almost instantly. The belly, the base of the tail, the lower back, spots that in the wild are the most physically vulnerable parts of a cat's body, the places a predator would target first. A study from the University of Lincoln measuring stress hormones during handling found cats touched primarily around the head, and cheeks showed the lowest stress responses of any group tested, while cats touched mainly around the belly and tail base showed measurable spikes almost immediately, regardless of how gentle the touch was. So when your cat rolls onto their back and shows you their stomach, that's not an invitation. It's actually one of the purest displays of trust a cat can offer, and going in for a belly rub anyway accidentally punishes the exact vulnerability they just extended toward you. 4. And here's the deeper reason I promised you at the beginning. Underneath all of this, sensitive nerves, overstimulation thresholds, vulnerable zones, there's one more layer that ties everything together, and it's about control. When your cat chooses to lie down beside you, they made every part of that decision themselves. When, how close, for how long, and they retain the ability to get up and leave the instant anything feels wrong. When you reach out and touch them, even gently, even with total love behind it, you've just taken a small piece of that control away from them. You decided when when it would happen. For an animal whose entire nervous system is built around constantly monitoring its own safety and its own ability to escape, having that decision made by someone else, even someone completely trusted, registers differently than a decision the cat made on its own. This is why the exact same physical contact can feel completely different depending on who initiated it. A cat leaning their head into your hand feels nothing like you reaching down and placing your hand on their head first, even though from the outside, it can look almost identical. One is your cat spending their own trust. The other is you spending it for them. 5. So, what does this actually mean for how you interact with your cat? It means the affection was never missing in the first place. It just usually shows up as your cat choosing you rather than your cat accepting you. The version of trust that looks like rejection is often just your cat protecting their sense of control over their own body while still very much wanting your presence nearby. The fix isn't complicated, but it does require patience. Let your cat initiate physical contact whenever possible, a head bump against your hand, leaning their body into your leg, climbing directly into your lap uninvited. These are all your cat spending their own trust voluntarily, and touch that starts this way tends to be tolerated far longer before hitting that overstimulation threshold. When you do reach out first, offer a hand near their face and let them choose whether to lean in rather than reaching straight for their back or head. So the next time your cat presses against your leg for an hour and then walks away the second you touch them, don't read it as rejection. Read it for what it actually is, a cat who trusts you enough to stay close and trusts you enough to be honest the moment that closeness needs to happen entirely on their own terms.